Hello and thank you for joining me for today's video. As you can see, it'll be around the Welsh Rugby Union and the state of affairs that's currently going on with the clubs. Now, just before I go into it, I'm not having a dig at teams and players and fans. At the end of the day, those are the people that really matter, and those are the real people that are getting affected by all this crap that's going on. So your fans, players, staff, that's just to think of it, every one of those getting affected, you know, and they don't know where they stand either. It's so poor. So let's get on with it anyway. So yesterday, or whatever, we had the MPs grilling the WRU and Richard Collier-Keywood. And I say grilling as in a mild grilling. I've seen more grilling at a vegan barbecue. That was just more like a Q&A to kind of show, no, look, we are answering these hard questions as if MPs, most of them, as if a lot of them have a spine. A lot of them don't hold the passion that real fans, fan groups, staff, players, and coaches and everyone else have. How can they both just sit there and go, oh well, it's fine? There must have been like a mutual agreement to be like, right, we need to look like we're asking you the hard questions, and we need to look like we're answering those hard questions. Anyway, it was just all in all not really worth watching too much. At the end of the day, Collier-Keywood ended up saying, at the end of the day, 3 clubs is what's needed going forward. That's the option. As you can see, I think it's Ospreys that are going. I mean, you don't lose the significant amount of players, key players, to the English clubs, and then still go, oh, well, look, we're still a flagship team. Yeah, what else can you say about that? Now, recently, we had Steve Tandy as well. So he did his interview, and nothing against him. He's in a very tough position. Your head coach, you've got to raise the morale of the players before the Six Nations, a very tough Six Nations. Probably the toughest to date because all teams are strong, including Italy. So you don't want to dampen morale or seem like you're on the fence. But a lot of people do think he's on the fence. And I'll tell you why. So when he was asked, how do you feel? With having basically affiliations with Ospreys, he's got a lot of connections. How does he face the real possibility? What does he think on the real possibility of Ospreys basically going? Oh, well, he's not there to talk about it. He's not going to give the answer that he wants. And I mean, does he not have a PR manager? Does he not have a person at least there going, these are the questions that you could face? Because let's be honest, in every interview, and I'm speaking from experience, in interviews, you know what could be coming your way, especially if you're in the WRU and all the problems are public nearly. You know what's coming your way. He should have been prepping for a question like this. And I think, although it might have seemed like a nothing answer, at least he went, look, I really sympathise with the players. It is uncertain, the future. My thoughts are with X, Y, and Z. Really put a message out there that he's with the fans and he's with everybody affiliated with the clubs. Like, put something heartfelt out there. You know what I mean? Instead, it's like, oh, well, I'm here about making the identity for Wales rugby. I mean, I know they aren't. It isn't word for word, but you just read the lines, and essentially, it's like, well, we had some promising moments in the past. Against the New Zealand team? That was a good match, but at the end of the day, New Zealand themselves, they've had a long season themselves. In terms of domestic as well, there's a lot of traveling going on. I mean, and promising moments against Japan, and then it's like, how can you get behind that? Like, at least if he would have turned around and give a heartfelt thing, it would have been like, right, he's here for us. He's representing the Welsh people perfectly well. But instead, no. And when you can't sell out your national stadium, including the Six Nations, I mean, you just go and look on the Six Nations site. So, oh, sorry, the WRU site for selling tickets. You you can't sell them. I mean, even though they go for like 50 to 100 plus pounds. I mean, who's paying 100 plus pounds to go unless you're like corporate or you're looking for an expense? But, probably just give them away in Happy Meals. You probably get better support that way. But not a lot of people are behind this, and because of the uncertainty of clubs, Welsh fans rightfully are just going, I don't fancy backing this, pouring my passion, pouring my hard-earned money, or money that you've saved up to go watch a team that, there's just not a lot behind them. And it's not directly at the players because they've got their own worries. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to move on from that. But anyway, there was more passion from Ospreys manager, or sorry, head coach, Mark Jones. He came out saying in an interview that there was just no clarity, and that is what you want to hear. I mean, it's not great news, but you've got a person there who's saying, look, there's no clarity, there's uncertainty, there's players walking out of meetings. At least that goes to show, right, there is a person that is saying what people are thinking, but are too scared to say what it is. So I think with that being said, it's then just to look at the higher ups and go, where are we going to go from here? Anyway, in the last 20 minutes, it's confirmed that Y11, the people that own Ospreys, are also chosen to buy Cardiff. Now, you'd think that there'd be a conflict of interest, wouldn't you? Like, it's kind of like, oh, well, I own a pizza business and I've got 2 shops, but that's it. What shop do you sell out of? Oh, no, I'm going to sell out of both of them. No, you're not. To save money, one eventually is going to go into the other. Now, there's been promises or assurances made on the site, that both of them will stay separate entities. All right, let's have this conversation in about a year or 2 years to see if they're both still separate entities, or one is heavily funded or one is kind of, let go. My perfect guess is they've just thought, you know what, let's sell it. Players are gone. One could probably be a feeder team. You know what I mean? The way it looks like is they're gonna try and save face. They're gonna try and keep both of those teams going for 2 seasons. They're gonna wait for the contracts with the URC to go forward, and then they're probably gonna dilute, and then they're gonna probably roll into one. Now, that's not going to be a popular decision at all, but you can just see it playing out that way. Because why would you own 2 teams in the exact same league and then have so much uncertainty and not come out and address questions, you know what I mean? Or give crap answers? No one's going to buy it. I mean, let's be honest, the URC is tough for Welsh teams to compete in. The quality coming from Scotland, Ireland, and I mean even South Africa to some parts, you know what I mean? There's some real quality coming through. So for Welsh teams, if the head of the WRU has said 3 teams, and Y11 have then got Ospreys and Cardiff, there's either mixed messages going on there where Y11 are going to try and stay on the ball, or eventually one of those teams is gone and it's probably Ospreys. Anyway, moving on, and this is just more about the fans, staff, coaches. So you feel sorry for the fans, pouring your money, pouring a large portion of your life into these clubs. And, you're essentially paying these head people's wages. You know what I mean? And to see you getting treated like this, I mean, I'm a Sale fan. But to see what's happening in Wales is just an absolute joke. Do not be surprised, and I would not blame any fan if they turn away from the sport and go and support a football team. You know what I mean? Or go and follow another sport. Because when you have loyal fans who will buy the scarves, buy the shirts, watch the matches, pay the subscriptions to go and watch the matches in the league as well, to get an interest, travel miles and miles to go and watch that club, you will not find them going to support another club. It's like myself. Let's say, I mean, let's just use football as an analogy, because maybe some people might miss the passion part. So in Liverpool, we got Liverpool and Everton. Now, if Everton were to ever fold, how many fans do you think will go and support Liverpool? You won't. You'll probably go and find them either support a lower team, or you'll just find them completely turn away from the sport. And that's what it's like in Welsh rugby. The fans are that loyal. You'll just see them go, right, is that it? The Ospreys are gone. All right, time to go and watch tennis or figure skating. You know, you've got more chance of that. Or let's go and watch a grassroots team. You know, that's it. And the staff, I feel sorry for the staff. You know, there's people that have worked hard. You know, they've either went to like university to train in certain fields like, you know, PR, sports science, and those people don't get mentioned. Then you've got people that work in like social media. You've got people that work in PR. You know, they work really hard. The unseen people, they're going to be worrying. You've got coaches who take all these qualifications, and they take all these little courses, you know, scrums, play, reffing, all these things. What are they going to do? And also the players. You've got young athletes now looking at what potential route could they go down in schools. You've got football, rugby, you've got tennis, you've got all kinds of different sports. Now, if you look at rugby, you go, what are the benefits? What are the benefits? What, you want to go and get lose an arm and a leg for a club or a board that wouldn't pay you 2 seconds of attention if you didn't play well? You know, they don't pay great either. I mean, if anything, financially, you know, why wouldn't you go down another route? So yeah, you got players as well. I guarantee I'd love to see the statistics. I mean, I'd hate to see them, but I would actually love to see, as a result, how many players, academy, outside first team, backup players, how many people don't go on to play rugby because of this. I mean, we'd never get to find out the statistics, because you can guarantee they'd be put in the Vatican. They'd have them hiding in the vaults. They wouldn't want you to see it. But yeah, unfortunately, that's my rant. But, you know, look to the side. Now, that was a team you could get behind. That was a team you'd love to hate every year. That's a distant memory, that is. And I just think there's not enough pressure put on a WRU. And that's why they're just not answering. Or they're just giving poor answers. But I guess when you've got the keys to the gate, you know what I mean? You don't have to let people in, do you? Anyway, enough of the sadness. Sale Sharks are a good team to support if you fancy one. Anyway, until next time, see you later.